2024, 11:15 p.m. or 12:15 p.m. I'm live. I'm alive.
Fuck it, I'm saying it.
I'm also a new pod John.
We fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit. We did.
That's right,
We
ladies and
fucking
gentlemen.
did. In a video game, whatever.
I am officially a pod John.
We fucking did, man. We did.
That was Hasana Streaming, theme song from my favorite socialist himbo official video from Theresa Sweetheart. And we're live, and this is the part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news. First and foremost, new glass alert, ladies and gentlemen. I purchased these Gentle Monster bad boys a while ago. These Gentle Monster bad boys, I got the optics put in them by a HasanAbi Head's girlfriend who happens to be my optometrist. And I was able to go and pick these up this morning. I'm very excited. The lighter frames look good on you. Thank you. Where are you going? What the hell? What the hell? How bad is your eyesight? I don't know. I have the prescription somewhere, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're live, we're alive, and it's going to be a good one regardless. This is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news, about what's going on in the world of HasanAbi Piker in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming button. Insane lineup, King? What do you mean? You look like you're ready to go to Korea with those frames? Thank you. Folks, oh, I forgot. There's some bad news. There's some bad news. I'm going to get to it in a second, but personal news-wise, ended the broadcast last night. Didn't really do much. Just went on a TikTok, TikTok journey basically last night. Woke up early in the morning, worked out. And the reason why I'm late today is because after that workout sesh, I got my new glasses. I have these in, this is gold, but I have it in silver frame as well. I have another transition lens glasses too as well. I got transition lenses. These aren't transition lenses, but anyway, I did all of that. And then afterwards, what did I do? I went to the Pod Johns. Okay. I went to the Pod Johns, Pod Save America. I went there to save America. And although the original conversation on the Pod Johns was supposed to take a 30-minute, it was supposed to be a 30-minute conversation, it took us 2 hours. We talked about so much. So much. What's the Ta-Nehisi post? Oh, also on my way to the Pod Johns, I got bad news. But unfortunately, Ta-Nehisi will not be able to make it today. He has a medical emergency. It's not super significant, but Ta-Nehisi is not going to be able to make it today. But he will be on hopefully next week before I leave for Europe, leave for the UK. Fucking hell. And there's a lot I need to figure out on that front too. Shit. But in any case, I will be going in a fucking UK for Oxford Union and Cambridge Union. But then also, I'm going to be back in America for Streamer Awards. Yeah. Fucking hell. I'm meeting Idris Elba. When's the Pod Save America episode coming out? I don't know. Hopefully they don't cut out too much of it. I see some crazy shit on there too. I talked about Hezbollah having optic fiber. But yeah, we like took a sidestep into Israel Palestine stuff. It was me and John Lovett, and we talked a lot. So we'll see where it goes. Are you gonna do a talk in the UK? I'm not gonna do one talk in the UK. I'm gonna do 2 fucking talks in the UK. Peace. That's right. Going to fucking Oxford and Cambridge, yeah. Going to fucking Oxford and Cambridge. I'm in Cambridge, but they only allow members, and it's like £200. 200 fucking quid. That's crazy. It's mental, isn't it? Oh my god, I'm gonna do this nonstop. They made this just for you. Better story with the Yakuza minigames. What? This is a better dating sim? Okay, we'll look at it later. What are we doing in place of codes? Just regular old broadcast that I was gonna do anyway. Did you call the Pod Johns dumb piece of shit? No. Why the fuck would I do that? It's insane. Are you okay? No, I did not do that because I'm not a fucking freak. Did you show the Pod Johns your IG thirst post? Come on, it was John Lovett. Of course he brought up the thirst post. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I'm here now. We're ready to go. Ready to let it rip. Okay. There's some Kaisen ass stuff that popped off too while I was about to go to sleep last night. It was crazy. Ken Klippenstein pose. Okay, let's go. But yeah, bad news. I know. I'm cooked. Okay. I'm cooked. No more Diet Cokes. I know. Coca-Cola is now officially on the BDS list. I am fucking devastated. Actually devastated. You know, Coke is officially on the BDS list. Lebanon ex-Israel ceasefire. What does this mean? Tina reacts to your IG pose. Oh my god. Uh-oh. No, Tina, shield your eyes. Hasan, how do you make your hair curly? Do you have perm? No, dude, this is just... You know what I do to make my hair? Nothing. I just get out of the shower and I towel it and then I just leave it like this. You should do a soda tier list to find Coca-Cola replacement. In the meantime, nothing will replace it. Nothing will replace it. Coke is officially on the BDS list. Lebanon Israel ceasefire. What does this mean? What else was I gonna talk about today? There's so much to talk about. Holy shit. What about RC Cola? Okay, guys, stop. Nope. Okay. Coke's visual videos list. What else was I gonna say? What does this mean? I was a Pod John for the day on Pod Save America. Jenks giving tomorrow. Get in now. Okay, that's good. I thought Coke wasn't on the BDS list. Yeah, it is now. It is now. We'll talk about that. Nor girl vindicated? That's so stupid. It wasn't before. Like, y'all are so dumb, dude. You can't fucking... Oh, God. I really... It's not retroactive, you fucking idiot. Like, it doesn't apply to previous incidents, okay? Please, shut the fuck up. Anyway, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Something is ticking? What is that? What do you mean? Wasn't Coke already on the BDS list? No, it wasn't. Hey, thank you, Themasius, for the playlist. Okay, we'll get started. But before Tina saw my Instagram post, oh no.
Why? I open my Instagram and there's just Hasan. Why? What? Why? Why all that? It's too early. It's too early in the morning for that. Oh my god. Why is it the first image? Dude, I don't know what to do. You ever want to like people's pictures to be supportive, but then you also don't want anyone to think that you're like... I don't know. Okay.
No, it's okay. It doesn't mean horny. It means supportive. That's the expectation from my friends. Also, what do you mean? It's a progress pic. Why is everybody up my ass over this progress pic? It's crazy to me. It's a progress pic. People post progress pics all the time. Bro, my normie sister asked me about your cock. It's going places you never expected it to. I don't understand it. It is a progress pic, dude. People post progress pics all the time. This is crazy. Okay? We need to dial it back. The way that we are looking at this, the way that we are viewing this. This is literally a progress pic. There it is. This is like... I think it's crazy. I'm getting objectified. I'm getting objectified. And I like it. Look at this shit. This has 44,000 likes. People that aren't in the gym life don't understand the progress pics. They're horny to post them. Wait, there's a funny thing that's come out of this, by the way. Apparently, I landed on the natty or not. Apparently, I landed on the natty or not subreddit for this. Hasan progress photo shows posted on a natty or not subreddit. Look at this. Wait, why can't I click on it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, before, after. And most people are saying like natty, natty, natty. Which is, I mean, it's correct. I wish they thought I wasn't natty. But I guess like, I wish people thought I wasn't natty because it's like very nice. But I guess like the fact that they even posted this it means that like people think I'm juicing. But I did see some of the comments that devolved into like, oh, this guy sucks. Oh, this scumbag. Why do people hate him so much? Because socialism is when you have no money and no house, but he has a mansion and money, so he's a hypocrite. Sarcasm. And then it's like a conversation about the classic people. The classic people that are like, excuse me, socialism is when no house, no car. Like, these people just can't let it go, man. They can't let it go. It's like, dude, this is the natty or not subreddit. Can you please not tarnish the integrity of the natty or not subreddit? Why do you have to fucking pollute the airwaves with your nonsensical opinions about what you think socialism is? It's dumb. Stop it. Anyway, if Sam Cedar came to your house for a stream one day, would you make him take calls? It would be a glorious disaster. What? No. Anyway, this is an insane post. Trump make America great again. America Post Project 2025. This is creepy and gross. It's starting to set in that this was a rather controversial post. But isn't instilling a thirst in those who witness your cake and bakery part of the trust the plan strategy? It is, yeah. I sent in my best friend that I just got into your content. She loved it, Lamau. Nice. Yeah, we've melted key parts of the rainforest. We've melted parts of the rainforest, and we did that so we could post like a Hitler family, an Aryan ass family. Like, this image has the worst vibes, dude. First of all, no fucking American family looks like this. This looks like a German Aryan family, okay? I don't even know why anyone would look like this in general. There's something very lifeless about this photo. What is this? Your new podcast co-host is getting cooked? This is the voice of the future of America's working class. He will lead us to glory. Michael, you don't think this guy's the voice of the working class, do you? Does he use his platform to perpetuate the ideologies of the ruling class at the expense of the interests of working people? Not to be pedantic, but a 2.7 million house in WeHo and a 4.4 million house in Hancock Park are hit very different to someone who lives here, lol. Dude, that's why I'm on the Pod Johns tip, baby. House owners unite, okay? House owners unite. That's how it works. Lol, wait, did they say your house is 10 million? No, I think the new house he bought is like 10 million or something. I don't really give a shit. Of course the Pod Johns have a massive house that is very expensive. I thought he was a director, not a podcaster. No, that's a different Jon Favreau. Podcaster Jon Favreau, and the Pod Johns are former Obama administration officials, like speechwriters and staffers that got together and created the somewhat more progressive than mainstream Democrat podcast circuit called Pod Save America. Mike from PA says, how is this dump $4.4 million, Lamau Blue State Governance? Yeah, that is pretty crazy. It's not a dump. It's a nice house, I think. It looks like a nice house. And I will say this about my own house as well. Like, my house in a normal housing market would be around, 700,000 max. You know what I mean? It is pretty fucking crazy how expensive it is. And that would still be on the expensive side, I think, maybe cheaper. It just depends on which year we're talking about. Like what, like yeah, my house, my house in Texas not near Austin, is, $300,000, which is still a shitload of money, but infinitely more affordable. You know what I mean? God damn, I fucking hate the California housing market so much. Do you think your house appreciated since you bought it? Yes, I live in Los Angeles. That is a byproduct of home ownership in Los Angeles. There is no, regardless of my efforts to desperately try to claw back and depreciate the housing market here and ensure that we have a just, honorable, equitable, reasonable housing market, which means depressing home values, including but not limited to mine. In most markets across the country, home ownership, housing values just go up only. It only goes in one fucking direction. And that's why everything is so goddamn expensive. When you were trying to downplay the house thing and Chatters would turn around and defend it, it's not even that nice of a house. It's actually a shitty house. And you were like, hey, what the fuck is a nice house? It'd be, yeah. Did you buy it outright or did you pay a mortgage? Of course I didn't buy it outright. Dog, in 2021, I did not. That's crazy. People thought I had 2.7 in cash. The fuck's wrong with you? Ay, ay, ay. Anyway. HasanAbi comes out. Oh, you were saving to buy that media company? Yeah, I'm buying MSNBC with the quintillions of dollars that I have. Yeah, my dad's a billionaire, so he bought it. Otaku auf Deutsch. Danke für die 25? No, how do you say 25 in German? I forgot. Thank you for the 25. 25. Okay, maybe 25. Okay, maybe I didn't get it wrong. Gifted subscriptions. IRA glasses, also with a good loan rate, your money will appreciate more in high yield savings account than it will save in interest if you were paying in full. This clip channel that you helped the other day got their issue fixed because of you. Yeah, that's fantastic. I like that this is now the rallying cry. This photo is now being used by everyone. Good news, everyone. Thanks to Hasan and his community support, YouTube looked into the remove video and fixed it, allowing the channel to keep posting it. Shout out to our amazing himbo for wasting no time and stepping in to fix this. That's what happens when you have a streamer who practices what he preaches and looks out for his community. The text placement saves it a little bit. NMP posted this on his Insta story as well. That's crazy. What did you think would happen if you posted cock? I don't know. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, as of today, the Palestinian BDS National Committee, the largest Palestinian coalition leading the global BDS movement, endorses the organic boycott campaign against Coca-Cola to pressure the company and to end its complicity in Israel's illegal occupation, apartheid, and genocide. I will no longer showcase Coca-Cola products on my stream. That means no more Diet Coke. Why boycott Coca-Cola? Because it's implicated in Israeli war crimes. According to research by Who Profits, the central beverage company known as Coca-Cola Israel, which is the exclusive franchisee of the Coca-Cola company in Israel, operates a regional distribution center and cooling houses in the Israeli Atarot settlement industrial zone. Furthermore, its subsidiary Tabor Winery produces wines from grapes sourced from vineyards located on occupied land and settlements in the West Bank and Syria and Golan. Why now? Human rights and health activists, among many others, have been campaigning against Coca-Cola and similarly complicit corporations for decades, including grassroots drives targeting the company for its complicity in Israel's gross violations of Palestinian human rights. During Israel's ongoing live stream genocide, Israeli soldiers have often been pictured with Coke cans donated to them by various genocide-enabling groups. This has provoked even more anger against the company, particularly given that Israel is starving 2.3 million Palestinians in occupied and besieged Gaza Strip, severely limiting their access to clean water and as a result, inducing the mass spread of contagious diseases. Given this context, Palestinian activists in Gaza and many BDS activists in the Arab world and many Muslim-majority countries and in some European countries as well have called on the BDS movement to add coke to its priority targets. Local alternatives are popping up worldwide to substitute Coca-Cola, an unnecessary and replaceable beverage. These alternatives have been gaining market share across the world, including in Palestine, China, Bangladesh, Sweden, Egypt, India, South Africa, Turkey, and Lebanon. Okay, I don't really believe that, but it's fine. You know? I guess Pepsi is fine for the time being, or Dr. Pepper. I don't know. Based on all this, giving Coke's large contribution, though, through business, as usual, in taxes to Israel's war chest during the genocide, the Palestinian BDS National Committee, BNC, the largest Palestinian coalition leading the global BDS movement, endorses the grassroots organic boycott Coke campaigns to pressure the company to end its complicity in Israel's illegal occupation, apartheid, and genocide. Dr. Pepper is a Coca-Cola subsidiary? Is it? No, it's not. The worst part about this is that these guys are like literally pretty straightforward and very openly exist to make sure that their boycott movements are directed at specific targets. And yet, no matter what happens, okay? No matter what happens, motherfuckers will still go, oh, that means you can't drink whatever the fuck I've decided as well. Like, shut the fuck up. And given the nature of how a lot of these massive corporations exist, where in certain markets, please, can you guys shut the fuck up? Don't post this to me, okay? Excuse me, but calm down. I'll try the Cola Gaza when I'm in England if they have it, but I'm just not gonna drink it, okay? Shut the fuck up. But there is a very clear and very deliberate reason why the BDS movement is very directed and hyper targeted, okay, towards a specific brand. It's so that dumbasses like you don't start chirping at people randomly for assuming that someone is doing something wrong. Okay? The problem is you still do it regardless. You're like, well, I've decided that in the Venezuelan market, Coca-Cola actually owns a specific alternative, but only in the Venezuelan market. And if I catch you fucking drinking that soda, I'm going to kill you. Shut up. Just don't fucking, run around with Coca-Cola. That's it. To be fair, it's very confusing. Dr. Pepper is co-owned by Coke in the UK, Japan, and in South Korea. In the US, is owned by Keurig. Canada, owned by PepsiCo. Yeah. Dr. Pepper is fine. Okay? It is not a Coke product. Please. Oh my God. Bro is yelling at 90% of Hosgard right now. I know. It's one of the most annoying aspects of being a fucking leftist and trying to do what's right all the time is that there are a lot of fucking people who are like, nope, I've made up my mind and you will never change it. Fuck you. Shut up. This is the intersection of all of the most annoying aspects of online commentary in general, is that the parasocial nature and the immediate feedback that chatters can get, and also the idea that they can finally enforce something upon their favorite content creators, creates this unique space only in this specific, hyper specific field where you're a political content creator who happens to live stream all the time, where people just go, oh, now my activism is about yelling at random content creators, like random political content creators, because I misunderstood the assignment given to me by the BDS movement. But yeah, it's not the end of the world, you know. It is what it is. Since you always say there's no ethical consumption under capitalism and that consumer activism doesn't work, why go through the pains of not consuming brands that support the IDF when realistically you might not affect them at all? Because pressure campaigns do work, especially when they're directed and targeted and have a very specific goal. That's the difference. It's like the Montgomery bus boycott, dude. Like, very clearly designed to reach a specific outcome. Do you understand? The Bud Light boycott is decentralized and was stupid. They didn't even know what they were angry about. They got mad at one can featuring Dylan Mulvaney's face. Yes, of course, there's a difference between that, even if it was organized, and even if it was very targeted, it still would have been bad, because why the fuck? They were boycotting it for bad reasons. They were boycotting it because they saw one fucking a trans influencer on one singular can. They got one canned. Okay? And also, the BDS movement has achieved some very noticeable victories. Specifically, some of these refusing to open up a new facility, with Puma refusing to restart or continue their sponsorship of the Israeli Football Association. Sabra Hummus is another one as well. You're no different from right-wing political commentators. Hassan equals Ben Shapiro. What? Please explain to me exactly what you mean by that. That would be amazing. I'll get back to that. But yeah, Ben Sharpino. Why don't you pay attention to the ones who want you? What? I do. Yeah, there's been some pretty significant victories against Elbit Systems as well, the Israeli weapons manufacturer. There are a lot of BDS movement wins since October 7. From Canada to California, the movement to divest from Israel is slowly gaining ground. One, American cities have divested from Israel. Okay, City Council of Portland, Maine became the 4th U.S. city to vote to cut investments from companies doing business with Israel since October 7. While Portland Mayor Mark Dion said he understood Israel's desire for retribution, he added that our role collectively is to grab their shoulder and say, it's enough, it's simply enough, and then pull them away. Other U.S. cities such as Portland, Oregon, Berkeley, California, St. Louis, Missouri have passed BDS measures focused on specific companies. But this marks the first time a U.S. city council fully endorsed a pro-BDS measure against Israel, Middle Eastern Monitor reports. Scotiabank cuts shares in Elbit Systems by half. The asset manager for Scotiabank, a major bank based in Canada and the Americas, has halved his investments in Israeli arms manufacturers following the protests. This chatter immediately stopped after saying, you're no different than right-wing political content creators, by the way, and said, I'm Ben Shapiro. I asked them, what do you mean by this? No answer. Are they Googling talking points, or have they died? Did they perish? Still waiting on the answer. How much you want to bet it's going to devolve into vibes? Elbit-owned company in Massachusetts shut its doors. KMC Systems, an engineering company owned by top Israeli weapon maker Elbit Systems, has quietly left its office in Cambridge, Massachusetts after months of weekly pro-Palestinian protests, according to the Boston Globe. North American Trade Union divests from Israel. The president of the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades announced the group's international pension fund will divest from companies supporting the destruction of Gaza. Canadian, Irish, and American universities have divested from Israel. San Francisco State University, Sacramento State University, Ontario Tech University, Student Union, Concordia University. Irish students forced Trinity College Dublin to divest from Israel. Puma is another one that we just mentioned. So there are some pretty solid dubs. I think like even Elbit Systems was actually denied entry into a weapons conference, which is pretty funny. You have Norway's largest private pension fund divesting from Caterpillar, which is on the boycott, divestments, and sanctions list as well. Caterpillar's on that list for the IDF-9 dozers that they have that are specifically designed for the Israeli occupying forces to use as they bulldoze over Palestinian roads and Palestinian homes. Famously, I believe they were placed on the BDS list after the murder of Rachel Corrie, an American activist from Washington that was ran over by an Israeli war dozer. So yeah, Caterpillar's D9 series bulldozer imported to Israel by Israeli tractors and equipment, part of Zoko Enterprises. In partnership with the Israeli military's technology and maintenance corps, Zoko Enterprises rebuilt these machines with vehicle-mounted weapons and armored drivers' cabins to use in the occupied Palestinian territory. The widely used Caterpillar D9R bulldozers weigh around 62 tons, are 4 meters tall and wide, and 8 meters long. So Barclays divest from Israel Weapons Company, activists say. That was another one. So, all of this stuff might seem insignificant, inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. You might say, why the fuck am I doing this? Palestinians are still getting slaughtered. But ultimately, it works. Slowly but surely, this pressure campaign that worked against apartheid South Africa as well, in a very meaningful way, is working against Israel as well. Yeah. And it's ironic because a big part of the process here for the BDS national campaign is to make it as easily digestible as possible. Wait, this guy got timed out because he wrote an essay. Right and left-wing political commentators on social media share many similarities. Oh my God, he chat GPT'd it. Oh my God. Dude, you're a fucking bot, brother. You're a bot. You don't have any convictions of your own. You literally went to chat GPT. Do you not recognize how sad that is? You let a machine fucking write your points for you. You don't have any firmly held convictions whatsoever. I want to have a fucking conversation here. How are you not embarrassed to admit that you went to ChatGPT? I called it before I even read the full thing, and he admits it. They simplify complex issues, use emotional appeals, foster echo chambers, and emphasize polarization. Both monetize their platforms, selectively use facts, vilify opponents, and leverage memes or pop culture for engagement. Despite differing ideologies, their methods often mirror each other, driven by the dynamics of social media and audience behavior. Yes, it's ChatGPT, but it is what it is. That is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen from a human being. You literally went to an artificial intelligence chatbot, openly recognizing that you are less than an NPC. Okay? You are literally less than a video game NPC. You understand that, right? What a fucking intellectually incurious, lazy, idiotic thing to do. If you have an opinion, okay, if you have this firmly held conviction, you should be able to communicate exactly what it is. Maybe you're not going to be the best at communicating your perspective, but like, you should have some thoughts in there. You're a human being. Why the fuck would you go to ChatGPT to try to seek out answers? Like, that's insane. That blows my mind. That is incredibly disappointing. Like, you're going to let a bot speak on your perspective? Yeah, this is the guy who wants to say I'm no better than the right-wingers, by the way. The type of person that has no fucking opinions of his own. Head so goddamn empty that they rely on a fucking robot. Rely on a robot to churn out a response for them. That is sad, brother. That's sad. You have lost your humanity. Holy moly. ChatGPT is right, though. Oh, my God. We're so cooked. We're so goddamn cooked. Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue against a fucking robot, okay? It's basically letting someone order and eat your shit at the restaurant for you. Yeah, I can't believe I would, I hope for the day where, I have people with like actual perspectives that don't just go, I have an opinion. It's mostly vibes based. And because I have no actual convictions of my own, I'm going to resort to, when you have the brain of a dog, holiday pro tip, rely on ChatGPT AI, the Thanksgiving table to ease polarizing arguments and achieve a peaceful celebration. Guy who sucks at being a person sees huge potential in AI. We are losing sight of what makes us human when we rely on chatbots. What? Same chatter? Holy bulge. Looking. Is he hard? Oh my God. Ask ChatGPT to comment on this. It's a pretty tired move, honestly. Relying on someone else to back you up in a debate, especially against a figure like Hasan, who thrives on informed and dynamic arguments, screams insecurity in your own stance. Originality comes from standing on your own intellectual ground, not outsourcing the heavy lifting. If you're going to engage, do your homework, know your values, and be ready to articulate them. There you go. Bot on bot violence, dude. You do realize that the AI is just a chatbot, not like a unique sentient being. It's just a chatbot, which means it will give you whatever you want, whatever your desire is. You prompt it, and it churns out whatever it thinks you want to hear. Ask ChatGPT how many R's are in strawberry. The answer it gives should provide some insight into how much you should trust this program for facts. It's kind of crazy though. Like it actually is crazy that it's like this is a thing that people are doing. And for the record, ChatGPT does have it maintains the political perspective of the people who created the fucking program. Like that is also true. So it pumps out what it was trained on. There is a political perspective in there as well. It's definitely liberal, but anyway. But you can still script it in a way where it like agrees with you at the end of the day. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Matt Faustini, let me be clear. John Favs. Oh, he's a dual Canadian citizen. If you want to push people like me away from the party I joined in 2018 as a former middle-class, white, college-educated Republicans turned Democrats keep platforming people like Hasan the Hun. That wouldn't even endorse Kamala. We are going to platform people you don't like, and that's okay. We're going to push back or just listen sometimes, and that's okay. But criticism's welcome. Anyway, some of the replies are salty. Harris campaign staff interview ran Tuesday. Hasan guest hosting the show today. Interviews with candidates like John Tester, Pat Ryan, and others ran before that. The goal is to hear a range of opinions about why the Democrats lost and how to fix things going forward. Whatever cop, terrible decision being involved at any level with Hasan, but you'll have to learn that yourselves. Are you surprised by how many people poorly reacted to the Harris campaign episode? I'm not surprised by that. I'm sorry to be the one that shares this, but bottom jail? I'd suck generations out of this man, put them in little ice cube trays and eat them like little Turkish delights. That is insane. Like, probably soon. But people replying are the same ones who are soy facing at the Bush Cheney endorsements. Yeah. So many libs on Blue Sky were so mad at you for the CNN thing. They can't take criticism at all. Yeah, that's why people are like, Hasan, you got to get on Blue Sky. Yeah, no thanks, man. I'm good, I think. But I am excited to see how liberals react to me having this conversation where we did have disagreements. Like me and Lovett had disagreements at times as well. And they are hating on you on X, make it make sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. This is what's waiting for you on Blue Sky. Audiobooks count as reading. Audiobooks count as reading. Audiobooks count as reading. Yes, but read also. Hey, friendo, some people can't read. I don't think you meant to be ableist, but that's how the statement comes off. No, it's good, man. It's Tumblr over there. I love it. I mean, I'm a fan of radical liberalism. I'm a fan of all politics in general. As you guys know, I am a savant who is fascinated with the ways in which people operate, the ways in which people work, and how they arrive at certain conclusions. So, I like it. I like the Tumblr containment space that Blue Sky is becoming. So it's cool. It's still better than Twitter, if that's your thing. But as long as I have a direct line of communication with journalists all around the planet, including in Gaza on Twitter, I am going to have to remain on Twitter. Anyway, why remain on Twitter? I missed it. Why remain on Twitter? I just explained it. I said, as long as I can talk to a global consortium of journalists, including those who are still trapped in Gaza, as long as that is my direct line of communication to many people, I will still remain on Twitter. That's it. I think people forget that there is an international audience of people that use this stupid ass fucking website. Americans are using it less and less. Having said that, however, why are we having this conversation? Man, shut the fuck up, okay? That's it. How about that? Jesus Christ. Why am I always finding myself having to address like the smarmiest, most annoying fucking silly ass comments. Like, what are we doing? How unproductive this is. I just, because I like it. How about that? Is that good? Because I like the Nazis on the platform, on the Nazi platform. Is that good? Is that a good enough, solution to your questions? I hope that it's, I'm just like eating the bait, and it only makes it worse. So yeah, I said hosting Pod Save America this morning on stream. I have Ta-Nehisi Costa. It's 3 p.m. Pacific. Unfortunately, Ta-Nehisi is not gonna make it today. Like I said, he had a medical emergency. Also, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. That is still out. Also, another thing I posted this morning was this was an insane thing that pro-Israel groups did, and we never really addressed why it was allowed or even remotely normal. How many Twitter tabs we got open today? A lot. Okay. Also, yeah, I tweeted about Mesler Vought as well. 2 conscientious objectors, Sol Behar Zalik and Iddo Elam, refuse to enlist in the Israeli military army in protest of the war and destruction in Gaza and the ongoing occupation of Palestinian lands. And they are expected to be sentenced to military prison. What? Sorry for spamming. Speaking of your money, I've been talking to my friends about you, and they keep insisting you have a billionaire dad, and they show this website as proof. Dude, you're doxing my fucking dad while also claiming he's a billionaire. I've never even seen this fucking website, but that is pretty funny. Unveiling his empire, real estate and portfolio staple. He has none of this shit. What the fuck? This is an AI written website. Are you okay? What? It says he has 5 billion. Net worth is $5 billion. I take care of my dad financially and my mom. This is news to me that this entire time he was hiding $5 billion of assets. If only I had known that there are AI bot written websites out there who are claiming that his net worth is $5 billion. Incredible. Hey, King, my mom saw you last night on CNN and asked me if you were Jewish. He looks Jewish. We're Jews, so this is a compliment. I like that. That site was an IP grabber. You need a new IP address? Wait, is it? Nice. Great. Amazing. All sites are technically IP grabbers, so I don't know how that works, but I hope people understand that if you believe shit like that, I'm sorry, you're an absolute fucking dumbass, okay? That's it. If you believe in shit like that, you're just an absolute fucking dumbass. That's it. I don't know what else to say. It's literally true, though. Yeah, well, it's fucking news to me. It is funny, though, that like people will be like, nah, actually, it's true. You don't know. This fucking random AI website actually knows the truth. There's no explanation for how this occurs, and yet he's not on any like Forbes list, Because I feel like at that point, if you're a billionaire, you're gonna appear on some lists of the wealthiest people, right? Yeah, that would make him the second wealthiest person in Turkey. Wow. If his net worth, well, Murat Ülker, his name is Murat. My brother's name is Murat. Maybe there's a connection there. Yeah, this would make my father the second wealthiest person in the country. Do you understand how fucking stupid people are? Why would I have gone to fucking University of Miami and then Rutgers? It doesn't make sense. Why would I have gone to a fucking state school and graduated from a state school if my father is a multi-billionaire? What makes you think that I would not have gone to fucking Harvard if that was the case? Brother, you say that like they're poor schools. Rutgers? I went to Miami with a scholarship, but Rutgers? What are we doing now? Like, are we acting like Rutgers is not a state school? What the fuck? I mean, I'm in the South, different perspective. I'm sorry. Being from the South does not change this concept at all. Okay? As far as schools go, and by the way, I literally also still, while paying in-state tuition, still had to take out student loans, for the record. But again, didn't realize that that was also something I didn't have to do because my father happens to be the second wealthiest person in Turkey, just not showing up on this list for some secret reason. Had to pay my own student loan debt, my brother's student loan debt, my mom's student loan debt, which, you know, I was very privileged and very fortunate enough to be able to do. Wait, Rutgers is cheaper than my school? Maybe I'm a champagne socialist too? Yeah. Yeah, it's called quiet old money. Yeah. Anyway, what the fuck are we doing this morning? What a crazy way to start the day. Tyrell Lee, thank you for the 10 give this subs. If you ask ChatGPT, it says $1 billion. What approximate amendment as of his net worth is estimated to be approximately $5 billion. His wealth comes from a combination of real estate investments, business ventures, his role in Sabancı Holding. He has made strategic investments in his properties, particularly in Istanbul and New York City, which have significantly contributed to his net worth. Yeah. He's a real estate mogul in both Istanbul and also New York City. You know what's really funny about the Sabancı Holding situation? He was the executive vice president. This is something I've talked about before, but of Sabancı, which is like a massive holding group. Other than Koç, it's like the second largest holding group in Turkey at the time. This would mean he's richer than the founder of the holding group. Okay? As in, he's wealthier than the person who is the founder and like the CEO of the holding group by massive numbers, too, by billions of dollars. Make this make sense. Make this make sense. You can tell who's heard of the Piker curse. Yeah, I've talked about my family's finances before. Like, every generation of my family has made a shit ton of money and then lost it all by the time that they're like next of kin, next up gets to college. It has happened in both sides of my family as well. Not that it fucking matters, because I use that to explain to you all the time that the Republican concept around wealth is actually built on a faulty premise. Ben Shapiro will always say, actually, you know, what, like only 10%. Like, do you know how much money is passed down every year from one generation to the next? It's like 10%. You are lying, okay? You are lying when you say that. Because when you're rich, even if you fucking lose all that wealth by the time someone like myself, for example, I can speak from personal experience, when you grow up affluent, as I did, right? By the time you get to fucking college, even if you go to college in America where you get a fucking slate wiped, basically, because you have no network in the same way in the United States of America, I still did not have to work to you know, ensure that I took care of my family. That would have fucked over my schooling in the process. You know what I mean? There's a tremendous amount of different societal pressures that I did not have to withstand as a consequence of growing up affluent. Even if they had no money by the time I got to college, it still doesn't matter, right? Because I got a tremendous education. I'll give you one example, okay? Not a very good test taker. In Turkey, there's a lot of emphasis placed on tests. And you can go to some of the best public schools in the country. Some of the best schools in the country are public schools, still to this day, right? But you have to be really good at taking these tests in both 8th grade and also, before you get to college. And because I, was dog shit in 8th grade in my standardized testing, okay, I was not able to get into very good high schools, very good public high schools. But because of the affluent position of my family at the time, I still went to a really good private school, okay? That is a massive leg up. That is a massive, massive leg up. So money helps in very unique ways that are not immediately visible, okay? A lot of people discount this and they don't understand it and they don't recognize it. And that's why people like Ben Shapiro will be able to falsely paint this narrative that like wealthy people only give their next of kin a leg up by leaving them money when they pass away. That's nothing. That's marginal. If your dad had all this money, why did you have to pay off Murat's tuition? Yeah. Hasan just admitted he comes from money. Wait, what? I have never not recognized that, chatter. The problem with a lot of people is that they don't understand. They don't understand that like these are things that I have very openly talked about. I've always talked about this. I've talked about it in the same exact framework that I just described about like how Ben Shapiro lies when he says that wealth is only passed down at the point of like someone passing away. That's incorrect. There are invisible ways in which affluent individuals can ensure that their next of kin is set up to basically maintain the same social mobility. Okay. And people still fuck that up sometimes. But having said that, the idea that like the idea that this is just a direct wealth transfer at the point of the person dying is silly. And regardless, my financial circumstances went from growing up very affluent to no longer being affluent at all and having to take out student loans and do all this shit. But it doesn't really matter. You're going to have to clarify now that the money you came from isn't. Yeah. And it was at never the point of a fucking billionaire. What do you mean? That is also completely false. There's a complete fabrication. Yeah. Also, oh yeah, the $10,000 a month gym in New York. I would love to watch that. I saw a clip of it on TikTok. Affluent in Turkey, but not in USA, correct? Yes. You've talked about your privilege, your advantages, but you never act like you are better as you want everyone to have access to good education and healthcare. Yes, that is the whole point. Also, people like lose their fucking minds over this shit, but like, yeah, my father's like circumstances do not have any bearing on my political commentary whatsoever. So that in and of itself is also so stupid. And it's just, I think, like a weird way to basically dox family members of a person that you don't like. But we've decided that like, because the enemy is ontologically evil, me being the enemy, that's actually perfectly valid. It's weird. Like, it's kind of crazy that like that kind of behavior is not considered psychopathic and scary, and instead is considered like perfectly valid and normal and good. Video of you talking about it from a while ago.
Any number of different people who have not benefited from that intergenerational wealth. My father is probably not going to leave me any money by the time he dies. My grandfather, who I'm named after, he died and left virtually no money. He had tremendous wealth and almost had none left at the end of his life. But it doesn't matter because he gave my father an incredible education, incredible opportunities, just like my father before me gave me those very same opportunities. Because
Hasan, I can't believe you admitted that. On this video with 669,000 views from June 15, 2020.
That sort of privilege does not come in the direct form of financial compensation, you dumb f***.
In reality, the best path toward wealth in this country is income mobility, not inherited wealth.
This opened up a wealth.
Wait, I don't even disagree with that. Income mobility. Would Ben Shapiro perhaps admit that income mobility is significantly affected by centuries of slavery and also segregation for another century after slavery was abolished? Maybe has something to do with the fact that black people don't have that same kind of income mobility in this country that white people do, which is the entire purpose of this fucking video.
As a result, today, for every $100 of wealth held by a white family, black families have $5.04. A 2017 study confirms that redlining is still affecting home values in major cities like Chicago.
There you go.
This explains how Kevin and Jamal inherited vastly different circumstances.
As it turns out, there were some complicating factors that don't get cited in this video with regard to this data. The Federal Reserve...
The Twitter freak out this morning about you is amazing. Wait, why are people freaking out? So it's really interesting. It's really interesting that people, like I said, don't know that these are all things that I've addressed a million times over. My Bubba grew up super wealthy as a pediatrician to upper class Izmir people and also lost it over his life. And at the end of his life, my dad was supporting him. Do you think there's something in Turkish culture that makes people easily lose it like that? Haha. I don't know. Probably not. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, like, I have made more money than my dad ever has in his entire life. Okay. And not only that, but I also take care of him now. And I'm very fortunate to be able to do so. And that still has not changed my analysis. That still has not changed the things I fucking advocate for. So I don't understand. Like, yeah, no, you can yell at me all day, every day, be like, you're rich and also socialist. What the fuck? Blah, 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 all this shit. But that's it. Yeah, $6 billion. My net worth is actually $6 billion. You guys joke about this shit, but like, honestly, people do believe it. So it's like a very weird situation. And I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to talk about my fucking family. It's like odd that people do this kind of shit, especially when I don't like, bring them on stream deliberately and make them the centerpiece or the focus of my commentary in general. But once again, it always goes back to the same like false first principle, which is that like, are you losing viewership? No. Will there be a 2028 U.S. election under Trump administrator? Will there be a fair election in the USA? I don't know why you're... My family has 10 million euros, and this in fact informs my politics. It made me understand that other people should have the benefits I had. For example, I had a mental health crisis and was able to not work, stop university for a year and go back home. Others would risk death or complete poverty in that position. Exactly. That's another thing. That is also another side of the story as well, is like for example, my experience going from working for a company as a wage laborer to working for myself in the process of still, making money from real estate that way would only put him behind Rick Caruso on the list of Forbes real estate billionaires from 2023, which is an insane claim to make. Yeah, people are on crack cocaine, I think. But look, the point I was trying to make is that like all of the opportunity that I've had, all of the privilege that I've had, I want others to be able to have that as well. I want others to be able to experience the freedom of not having to fucking worry about healthcare costs. That's it. That's what I advocate for. Okay? And I've never really personally hid my beginnings or anything like that. Not that it bears any basis on my commentary in general. And I think it's really weird, and it's a very odd way to just like try to open up a new vector of attack by just like doxing my family. What the fuck? It's weird and gross. I don't know how else to describe it. Yes, Little Bear, I'm aware that Coke is officially on the BDS list. I know. Yeah, probably. 2 hours in and he hasn't covered news. It's an hour and 25. Okay. But yeah, one of the weirdest aspects of this is literally when I start talking about this stuff, it's the same principle. It's the same, like, it's the same reasons as to why people will start talking about like, well, Coke is on the BDS list, which means that, I'm going to decide all these other things are also on the BDS list and make sure that you don't consume them or something. It's that parasocial, it's that little parasocial puppeteering interest that a lot of people have that basically start changing the dynamic of the chat. And it's really interesting because like I saw people in the chat being like, what's your net worth and how do you plan on spending it? It's like, dude, what the fuck are you saying? Anyway, excuse me, can you please give me a financial accounting of all of your expenses right now so I can make assessments on whether it's moral by my standards or not? Is not a, this is a fucking ridiculous convo to have. It is. It's especially ridiculous because people will be like, ooh, he's hiding it. He's being sinister. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? I exhibit or I live under capitalism in the most ethical ways possible, okay? Within the bounds of reason. And people still fucking yell at me for leasing a goddamn dentist car like the Taycan or purchasing a house that I mortgaged so that I could live with it and welcome all of my family members and also people that from all around the world come and visit Los Angeles. And not only that, but even then people yell about that. Why the fuck would I constantly play defense on this shit? Yeah, whatever, dude. I'm caked up, okay? Focus on the argument. That's it. It's another way to just move the conversation away from that, to just like attack the person saying the message and not necessarily the message itself. Oh, there must be some inconsistency here. Okay? Anyway, yes, I will be streaming tomorrow. And Janksgiving is tomorrow. Yeah. Every moment that you're like, oh, dude, I can't believe this house is fucking 2.7 mil, is a moment where you're not asking the question, why is that house 2.7 mil? That's, I think, a much more productive conversation to be having. Now, let's get back to the real news of the world. Okay?
Released a temporary ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah is in effect this morning after more than a year of cross-border fighting. Israeli airstrikes and Hezbollah rockets continued until shortly before the truce began. President Biden spoke about this deal, which was brokered by the United States.
I applaud the crazy decision made by the leaders of Lebanon and Israel to end the violence. It reminds us that peace is possible. Say that again, peace is possible.
Deborah Pata is in northern Israel. Deborah, good morning.
Very good morning. Well, Lebanon is just over that hill, but here in Israel, Kiryat Shmona has been a ghost town for over a year. On our way in, we did see some shops reopening. We also heard 2 outgoing explosions, but nobody is saying the ceasefire has been breached. Israel and Hezbollah were exchanging heavy fire until the very last moments before the ceasefire began. Then, in the early hours of this morning, the guns fell silent. Now the tense 60-day wait to see if this holds. During this period, Israel must withdraw from Lebanon and Hezbollah retreat north of the Litani River, while Lebanese troops and UN forces keep the peace. But if Hezbollah violates the ceasefire and tries to rearm, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said we will attack. And there is deep distrust on both sides. It's not safe to go home, said Israeli Eliyahu Maman, because Hezbollah can still harm us. I don't believe in this ceasefire, Beirut's Rima Abdelkalak said. Israel cannot be trusted. But that lack of trust has not stopped thousands of Lebanese civilians hitting the road down south, everyone desperate to go back home, despite warnings from both Israel and...
Yeah, I wonder what the difference is because death and destruction is all they fucking know at this point, and they have no other options, so they're going to go back regardless.
Lebanon, that it's still too dangerous.
I wonder if they'll actually ask the
now,
Lebanese
this deal
people.
has revived hope for a Gaza ceasefire, but a former Israeli military intelligence officer told us he's convinced Israel will not be leaving the Palestinian territory for a very long time. Nate?
Deborah Pata in northern Israel. Thank you.
The major development in the Middle East, the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, took effect overnight. I want you to take a look at new video coming in of people returning to their homes in southern Lebanon.
What time is Coates coming? He's not coming today. He's sick. I learned right before the Pod John's interview, unfortunately. We're going to try to reschedule, I'm going to try to reschedule it hopefully before I leave for the UK. And I don't know when the Pod John's interview is going to come out, or the Pod John's show is going to come out. Lena Khan, we're going to have to schedule after I come back from the UK. Yeah, Channel 4 did a Lebanese people celebrate returning home in the ceasefire.
The news of a ceasefire came way past their bedtime, but this was a time to celebrate. Lebanese families, displaced by war, danced with joy. Come morning, many were already on the road heading home. More than 1 million Lebanese people have been displaced and lived in terror for months. Guess which road is heading south?
Seamus says, compare and contrast the videos of the southern Lebanese rushing to their home villages, even if they are rubble, reaching all the way to the border wall. All these interviews of American accent, the residents of Israel's north.
So my feeling, and that of many in Sfat that I'm hearing, is a lot of caution, a lot of hesitation. You know, there's a saying that ceasefire means we cease, they fire. And we saw already this morning, you know, armed terrorists at the border making trouble the very first day, the very first morning, within hours of the ceasefire going into effect. And of course, there's, you know, warning shots fired, but it's a very fragile ceasefire, and there's not a lot of hope and faith that it's going to remain.
Right. Many residents are saying that they didn't leave their homes for over a year just to have Hezbollah stay as neighbors. Do you have faith at all that this deal could set the basis for something more stable and long-standing, and that you would be able to return to some sort of normality anytime soon?
We're not seeing really a lot of hope for that, honestly. I mean, at this point, you know, the schools have been reopened, well, but only some of them, only ones that have a protected space accessible within 30 seconds from their classroom. And so even the Homefront Command is taking the precautions necessary and keeping in mind that at any moment there could still be rockets fired our way.
What would it take for you to feel safe and for you to return to a life that you knew for so many years and suddenly was taken away from you?
Knowing that Hezbollah was completely abolished, disarmed, disbanded, destroyed, and that there was no longer an active threat on our border, only 12 kilometers away from us.
It's like, look at all this glass that was broken in northern Israel, and then you look at fucking southern Lebanon and it's just wiped out. Just entirely fucking wiped out. You look at Beirut, and parts of Beirut are wiped out. Entire buildings reduced to rubble.
Really, anything short of that does not give us hope for security long term.
But would that mean continuing the war as it is right now, or could some sort of ceasefire deal, a diplomatic deal, be enough for you?
Well, you know, not so long ago in the past, we used to
She grew up in Texas?
say we don't negotiate with terrorists. And now, unfortunately, we do, but it usually...
Well, that you know, that explains the Texan attitude.
doesn't end very well for us.
As well as northern Lebanon, we sacrifice the villages in their entirety with little or no resources. I'm sure you know how classy the country is towards our people, the people of our Bekwa. Yeah. France has gone back on their position on Netanyahu. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as well. Aren't Dahia and Hannibal orders inherently crimes against humanity? Yes, they are. Contrast that to the way that the Lebanese people are taking this ceasefire. Contrast that. Contrast the death and destruction in northern Israel to what the death and destruction has looked like in southern Lebanon, all the way up to Beirut.
Nicest feeling. We're returning with our heads held high. We're returning with dignity.
Thank God. It feels great. Thank God for everyone's safety. I hope Lebanon always stays safe.
But some of the places they are returning to are still occupied by Israeli forces, who have 60 days to leave. And as people flooded back, Israel warned residents not to return to the border area. The Israeli army implemented a curfew for those moving south of the Litani River, with the IDF saying they had arrested 4 Hezbollah militants.
Like, look at this.
A pause in fighting, but a fragile peace. The Lebanese army also began deploying to the area today in accordance with the ceasefire agreement. Their role with UN peacekeepers is to monitor the territory and ensure Hezbollah does not return. Both sides are portraying this as a victory. Supporters of Hezbollah chanted the name of their former leader, Hassan Nasrallah, killed by Israel in September, and many waved the yellow and green flag of the militant group. It is that support and the continued presence of Hezbollah in Lebanon which worries Israelis displaced by the fighting. Many of them, like Amichai, fear this is not the win that Benjamin Netanyahu boasted about last night and are fearful of returning home.
A ceasefire is a big nonsense in my opinion, because nothing has changed. Tomorrow Hezbollah will go through the tunnels that haven't been found yet, and they will reach us and take us whole.
To attempt to ease their fear and limit their anger, the Israeli government has emphasized that if Hezbollah violates the new agreement, they will not hesitate in striking back inside Lebanese territory. So could we see history repeat itself? The last ceasefire occurred in 2006, following a month-long conflict during which 150 Israelis and 1,000 Lebanese were killed. The terms of that deal, UN Resolution 1701, are the basis of the present ceasefire. But back then, both sides accused the other of violating the agreement. Lebanon said Israeli jets continued to enter their airspace, while Israel said Hezbollah had rearmed and moved military infrastructure south of the Litani River. And so many today, both north and south of the border, wonder how long this present calm will last. In Lebanon, the rebuild begins. This is the nation that was already in economic freefall and beset with corruption, now ravaged by a conflict that has left cities pockmarked with rubble and the south leveled by Israeli airstrikes.
From 2006 to 2024, every 10-15...
Would you gamble away everything you've built on Twitch? Why do you hate people who are right years before you? Are you fearing being wrong, or will you leave it all to chance? Roll the dice, brother. But let us have a wager per chance. Would you gamble away everything you've built on Twitch for the chance that you're wrong? What are you, the fucking Riddler? What is going on today, man? Everybody needs to fucking dial it back a million steps, okay?
15 years, there's a war. There are people who built homes and made investments in the south. This is the second time we suffer such damage.
Lebanon's prime minister said, enough wars, tragedies, and disasters. Many will echo that wish across this.
I post fucking meat on Maine. All of a sudden, it brought out all the weirdos, dude. I feel like every time we get closer to December, we see a lot of mental illness in the chat. Yeah, I think holiday season brings out some of the craziest people. It's also the serialized, dedicated brigading coming from certain communities that are very upset that their daddy looks like, you know, someone who has done really inappropriate things with minors in general, both in the past and continues to be like a fucking rapacious weirdo. And they don't like that, so they have to fight back to the best of their ability.
Region, but fear that for far too long now, such devastation.
Oh, also, they do this. It does escalate every time I get like positive coverage from mainstream media. It's very weird. Yeah, Diddy Jeers. It's a very odd phenomenon. I think it's like it's almost outside of like the control of a singular force at this point. It's like become a cult in and of itself. Yeah, a lot of it revolves around the personal envy of a singular human, and people that wish to fulfill his desires. You're getting CNN hits and PSA segments and they can't handle it and they don't understand why it's not him instead. Yeah, I know.
Has become synonymous with this land.
Well, joining me from Beirut is the Lebanese-Australian journalist Rania Abuzayed. Rania, thousands returning home. What are they telling you about the scale of devastation, what they're facing there?
Yes, as you saw from that report, the Lebanese did not wait long at all to head back to their towns and villages, not only in the south, but also in Baalbek and in the Bekaa Valley. The ceasefire took effect at dawn, and very soon after that, there were traffic jams on all of the southbound routes as people headed home or to whatever remained of their homes. Certainly, the destruction is widespread. There was a report recently that said that up to 100,000 homes have been damaged or destroyed. This war.
By the way, your CNN piece was just uploaded to the official YouTube channel. Let's go. Hassan is mostly right, except about adopting good policies. We're never doing that. Yeah, go show the support here before the fucking weirdos swarm it. This dude is in like every fucking mention. I don't know how he figures it out. Everywhere. Anywhere that I'm mentioned, they swarm it. I think they're angry that the whole adpocalypse shit failed, and after a few days, an advertiser getting rich during Christmas. Yeah, that part of it is true too. He's currently claiming a Twitter guy wishing AB and Lena's death is radicalized by you. That's the most insane thing that someone could claim. I love Lena and AB. It's gross. Like wanting to win an argument so bad that, you know, you just look at random people posting schizophrenic, psychotic shit on Twitter and then saying it's my fault. It's crazy.
Killed more than 3,700 Lebanese. It wounded more than 15,000. So the devastation is vast, but so too is the ability and the desire of Lebanese to return home and to rebuild their lives.
And are they worried about that rebuilding, given the sort of prospect of new outbreaks of violence loom heavily, but also how they're going to rebuild, what help they will have to rebuild?
Well, that's the key question. Now, Hezbollah's leaders have said that they will help rebuild, they will help foot the bill for the rebuilding. But, this is not like 2006. Where's the money going to come from? The country has been mired in a devastating economic collapse since 2019, actually, and it is still feeling the after effects of that collapse in 2019. Certainly, geopolitically, the Gulf states are not as friendly. Many of the Gulf states are not as friendly to Lebanon as they were in 2006. And Iran is also sanctioned and has its own economic woes to contend with. So that's the big question about where the money is going to come from.
And over it all, this nervousness hangs about how long this ceasefire will hold. What are your reflections on that?
Well, it's a very fragile truce, and the potential spoilers are many on both sides of the border. You heard in that report that Netanyahu says that he thinks that Israel reserves the right to strike Lebanese territory if it thinks that Hezbollah is rearming or that its fighters are moving south of the Litani River. Now, these are very difficult things to verify, given that Hezbollah's fighters are clandestine, and its arming, its rearming is also sort of not. It's not that you don't see Hezbollah fighters in these areas. Lebanon fears that Israel may try and exploit that and violate Lebanese sovereignty. So it's a very fragile truce at the moment. So the Lebanese are certainly taking it one day at a time.
And is there a lot of nervousness that Hezbollah will breach its side of the deal?
Well, so far, its officials are welcoming this pause, this cessation of hostilities. They view it as a victory. They have said that they have, absorbed and endured devastating blows that Israel has unleashed on the group. So devastating that the former Secretary General of State Hassan Nasrallah himself described these blows as unprecedented and painful before he himself was assassinated a month ago. But Hezbollah's officials are presenting this as a victory because Hezbollah was not destroyed. It remained steadfast. It prevented Israeli soldiers from occupying and creating a new occupation zone in the south. And it says that it will help rebuild after this devastation.
Rania Abizadeh, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, President Biden says his administration will immediately try to secure a truce in Gaza, declaring he will make a push with regional powers to agree a deal which includes the release of all the hostages and the removal of Hamas from power. But is there any likelihood of achieving that? Jonathan Rugman reports.
It's been a year since a brief truce in Gaza. In the words of President Biden, its people have been through hell. With over 44,000 Palestinians reported killed, most of them women and children. So, in the winter of his presidency, a final push for a ceasefire to follow that agreed over Lebanon. And Mr. Biden blames the lack of one on Hamas.
And so now Hamas has a choice to make. Their only way out is to release the hostages, including American citizens, which they hold. In the process, bring an end to the fighting, which would make possible a surge of humanitarian relief.
But these Israelis protesting in Tel Aviv last night blame their own prime minister. They want a deal to release somewhere between 50...
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why the immediate family members of the hostages are still blaming the prime minister. Much to think about there. What's your take on the ceasefire, by the way? Is it a win for Hezbollah? I mean, I think ultimately Israel accomplished one goal, which is to decouple Hezbollah's actions from the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Okay? So I think technically, depending on how Hezbollah operates from here on out, they did accomplish that goal. While they did that, my ex-husband spends Taylor's net worth daily on fucking... What? He throws your network in the garbage dealer. I still love you, just disappointed. What is happening? Anyway, so here's the thing. I'm going to stop reading chat, I think. Israel's goals of decapitating the leadership of Hezbollah was successful. Israel's goals of decoupling Hezbollah, if there is no more momentum from Hezbollah in terms of like applying any sort of pressure to Israel as the Gaza genocide continues, then they were able to successfully achieve those two goals. But I think their overarching goals were to create a permanent safety barrier in southern Lebanon and destroy Hezbollah's military capabilities. However, those goals were obviously massive failures. They killed a shit ton of Lebanese civilians in the process. They destroyed major parts of southern Lebanon. They wiped out entire city blocks in Beirut. And yet, when the ground forces moved into southern Lebanon, they incurred tremendous penalties. They went in and they left in coffins. They lost a shit ton of Merkava tanks. They lost they incurred a significant amount of deaths and wounded, the casualties in general. And the reality of the matter is, it was not something that they could keep up regardless of how much support they're getting from the American government. What I mean by that is, they invaded a foreign nation, and the standing military, the de facto standing military of said foreign nation, was able to, in a direct combat, boots on the ground military invasion situation, despite having air support, Israel having air support, was able to push them back significantly. They thought that, Israel at least thought that they would be able to overtake Hezbollah militarily in the process, but instead what they got was some significant pushback. And if we have learned one thing from previous incursions into Lebanon, your dream coming true, Romania is soon going to be a Russian colony, GG, easy. Why the fuck would you ever think that I would want Russia to colonize Romania? Why are people fantasizing about a position that I do not hold at all? And then, what is going on, dude? I covered the Romanian situation. What is happening with the fucking chatters today? Anyway, the point I was making is that Israel has time and time again shown everyone in the region that the only people that the only groups that they respond to are those that they cannot defeat militarily. They're showing that they only respond to violence. Look at the dynamic between Iran and Israel, and the way that Israel retaliates towards Iran, or even escalates against Iran. Look at the dynamic between Israel and Hezbollah, the way Israel has retaliated to Hezbollah, and the way that they have backed away from fighting Hezbollah. Now look at the way that they are operating in Gaza. Out of the three different groups, one is a state actor, the other one is a militia in a movement that is aligned with the state, and the last is basically a captive group, a spontaneous militia that arose from existing under Israeli occupation. Out of these three groups, of course, Hamas has the least amount of support, the least amount of military power, and it's simply just a starving population fighting back against their brutal occupiers. And lo and behold, the Palestinians in Gaza are the ones that are getting killed the hardest. That's the modus operandi of Israel's warfare. Anytime they get hit by anyone else, really, from the axis of resistance against Israel and American imperialism in the region, they literally turn around and make the civilian population of Gaza suffer the penalties. They get mad, they strike against those who they have the capability of striking at. That's it. That's it. And that is where we're at. This is a reality that also dictated the evolution of the Palestinian resistance in general. While Palestinian political movements were trying to negotiate with Israel to the best of their ability, those negotiations in the so-called peace process only basically created political cover for Israel to continue its settlement operations and the partitioning of occupied West Bank, Palestinian territory that Israel is illegally occupying. In that process, in that same exact time frame, the similar initiatives were made. Military campaigns were conducted against Hezbollah in Lebanon. And Hezbollah was able to militarily purge Israel from its national boundaries and reinforce its sovereignty. Hezbollah gained a lot of momentum and popularity in the process time and time again. This taught everyone only one lesson. If you don't fight back and if you don't make Israel's military escalations costly, they just won't stand down. What are people supposed to do? What lessons are they supposed to learn? When this is the only thing that Israel shows everyone in the region, this is what they do. Why are you allowing hateful symbols in your chat? What are you saying? Man, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Yeah, hateful symbols like the Palestinian flag and people saying free Palestine. I got it. God damn. Sub-only mode? That guy was a sub. I'm hearing from Israeli sources we have diminished Hezbollah greatly, and I'm curious to know. I think it's mostly propaganda because the number of like armed combatants, that did not diminish. Like they thought that they would be able to, you know, trot through southern Lebanon with ease once the leadership of Hezbollah was decapitated in the terror attacks that Israel conducted with the pager bombings. But it didn't happen. It didn't work that way at all. It was a demonstrable failure. So, you know, there is what Israel is saying, and then there is the reality on the ground. So in this campaign that they where they moved in the Israeli campaign towards Lebanon, Hezbollah literally drone striked Benjamin Netanyahu's house, blew up a military base, and also continued its bombing campaign into Israel, and simultaneously destroyed a whole bunch of battalions in southern Lebanon. How is that in any way, shape, or form a successful military incursion? The only W's that Israel can always fucking mark up are W's from above. They obviously have superior military power in the air, but ultimately, I don't place a lot of emphasis on reporting like this. Still counting as dead, Hezbollah faces a long road to recover from war. Beirut, with the bodies of his fighters still strewn on the battlefield, Hezbollah must bury his dead and provide succor for its supporters who bore the brunt of Israel's offensive. Hezbollah believes the number of its fighters killed during the 14 months of hostilities could reach several thousands, with the vast majority killed since Israel went on the offensive in September, 3 sources familiar with the operation say. One source said the Iran-backed group may have lost up to 4,000 people. What is the source? Well over 10 times the number killed in its month in the 2006 war with Israel. You know? So far, Lebanese authorities have said some 3,800 people were killed in the current hostilities without distinguishing fighters from civilians. Lebanese authorities have said 3,800 people were killed in the current hostilities. Do you think that they were Hezbollah fighters? And if they were Hezbollah fighters, how the fuck were they able to mount a decent defense in southern Lebanon if that was the case? Now, right now it's 1,700 Hezbollah fighters confirmed killed based on funeral notices. That part I believe for sure. If it comes from Hezbollah as a source, they always will recognize that if their fighters are killed, they'll say it. That seems like a much more reasonable number. And even then, yeah, Hezbollah does not hide their dead. They don't hide the number. Elent News says, but it's important to remember they have 50,000 fighters. Yeah, but that's my point. Like, Israel killed, just like they did in Gaza, a majority civilian population, and they're trying to lick their wounds and say, no, this is a dub. Part of the reason why they're trying to do that is because there's a lot of internal pressure from Israeli society and even members that are in the opposition in the Knesset against Benjamin Netanyahu's war cabinet and Benjamin Netanyahu's governing coalition that want more escalations in Lebanon. That's the problem here. That's it. With the ceasefire taking hold on Wednesday, Hezbollah's agenda includes working to reestablish its organizational structure fully, probing security breaches that helped Israel land so many painful blows, and a full review of the last year, including its mistakes in underestimating Israel's technological capabilities, 3 other sources familiar with the group's thinking said. For this story, Reuters spoke to a dozen people who together provided details of some of the challenges facing Hezbollah as it seeks to pick itself up after the war. Most people asked not to be named to speak about sensitive matters. Hassan Fadallah, a senior Hezbollah politician, told Reuters the priority will be the people, to shelter them, to remove the rubble, to bid farewell to the martyrs, and, in the next phase, to rebuild. Israel's campaign is focused largely on Hezbollah's Shiite Muslim heartlands, where its supporters were badly hit. They include people still nursing casualties from Israel's attack on its mobile communications devices in September. I have a brother who was martyred, a brother-in-law who was wounded in the pager attacks, and my neighbors and relatives are still all either martyrs, wounded, or missing, said Havra, a woman from South Lebanon with family members who fight for Hezbollah. We want to collect our martyrs and bury them. We want to rebuild our homes, said Havra, who stayed in her village until she was forced to flee by the Israeli assault in September. She declined to use her full name, citing safety fears. The Israeli offensive displaced more than 1 million people. The bulk of them are from areas where Hezbollah has sway. Wow, Reuters interviewed a terrorist. First of all, that person is not a fucking terrorist, okay? I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to defend me to be like, oh, dude, someone is someone who lives in southern Lebanon who is a Hezbollah supporter who has family members who are in Hezbollah as like militants is a terrorist. That designation doesn't hold in this circumstance. That person is not a terrorist, and neither is like the Yemeni teen that I interviewed. Don't say shit like that. It's just racist.